Jim and Lynda Lloyd here of Everyday Orlando. We are a husband and wife real estate team from Horizon, West Florida.
That's right, we're coming to you tonight from Disney Springs, right in the heart of the Disney World properties. And we're excited to tell you a little bit, maybe a comparison. You have been searching, you want to live near Orlando. There are a lot of options, and you probably have had Winter Garden come up. And maybe you've also had Kissimmee. And because you want to, like Lynda, you want to be as close to Disney as possible.
Yeah.
And those two towns primarily are very close.
Exactly. Maybe you took a trip and you were looking for a short-term rental to stay in, and you stayed near in Kissimmee, but as you drove to Disney, maybe you drove through Winter Garden and you were like, this is beautiful. I want to live close to the magic. I want to live this close to Disney. So we want to talk about, this is a common thing that people who are looking to relocate, it's a common mistake that they make when they're looking to relocate, because they know they like one area, but then they start looking on Zillow and it shows them it gets overwhelming. So we want to compare.
And the communities are not the same, right?
Yes,
and
very
so
different.
You might find some price points much lower in Kissimmee than in Winter Garden, especially in the Horizon West area,
Yes.
which would be the closest part of Winter Garden to Disney World.
Right.
And the average price in Horizon West is going to be higher
different,
than
much
the
higher.
average price in Kissimmee.
Right, so if we go back a little bit and we think, you're thinking of relocating and you're comparing Winter Garden and Kissimmee, because both those places come up frequently. What do they have that's the same? One thing they have the same is its proximity to
Proximity,
Disney.
yeah. The
Right.
driving time is going to be 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes. In both
Yeah.
of those places, you could be 15 to 20 minutes to Disney. You have great dining. I think in both of those areas, you will have lots of entertainment. There's lots of things you can do.
Lots of dining, lots of entertainment.
There's not a shortage
Good.
of activity.
Not a shortage of activity. There's outdoor activity, there's golf, there are...
Both areas have great golf courses. Both areas have great restaurants,
movie theaters. Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
dine-in theaters. There's a lot to do in both of those places. So it's easy to fall into that trap of confusion of, well, what could be so different between Winter Garden and Kissimmee?
Yeah, so one of the things with Kissimmee is, well, it allows short-term rentals. And Winter Garden, Horizon West does not. Orange County, where Winter Garden or Horizon West is, does not allow short-term rental. Kissimmee is in Osceola County. They do allow short-term rental. So a lot of the construction, a lot of the development there is townhomes, it's condos, it's resort-style pools, it's lots of different things that guests will find very interesting. And there will be higher HOA fees.
Yes.
Because they're anticipating second home, vacation home, having the experience and having those amazing pools and all kinds of different things.
So we're talking Kissimmee, right?
Yeah.
The home price itself will be less, but the HOA will be higher because they're usually in resort communities with all the amenities built in. So you're going to have to pay for that.
And so the monthly expense might be similar, even though
Right.
the house is more expensive
Right.
in the Winter Garden, Horizon West area as opposed to Kissimmee.
And then, and that in and of itself, beyond price tag, beyond HOA, it comes with a different way of living as far as if you're living in an area that has a lot of short-term rentals, or if you're living in an area that is people who live there full-time, full-term all year. Whether they're renting or whether they own the home, because you can rent long-term in Winter Garden. You can have a yearly rental. But when you're living in a short-term rental area like Kissimmee, you are going to be surrounded. Your pool, your amenities are going to have a lot of people that are on vacation. The hours of the loud music, it's going to be a little later.
It's going to be different.
You're gonna have a lot of noise. Maybe it's a little harder to drive as safe around the neighborhoods because, I don't want to say that it's not.
But if you're
people are on
looking,
vacation.
if you're looking for a family neighborhood,
Right, where you can meet people, maybe.
most of the places, and we started our journey moving to Florida in Kissimmee, we had different neighbors every week,
Yeah.
right? So there wasn't consistency. So there were some other full-time residents there, so their kids went to school, but It's very much a short-term.
It's very much. We had new
and there are
neighbors every
pockets,
week.
you know,
Yes.
there are exceptions to that, but in the area that's close to Disney, it's going to be more short-term rentals. The difference in Winter Garden and in the Horizon West area is that there's more single-family homes, there's more family-friendly areas,
Right.
there's more elementary schools and sporting fields. There's just a lot
There's a lot of community events where you will be meeting people because the area also is so new and growing in the Horizon West area. So you will, you're kind of like in on this birth of a community where people are all moving from all over and are meeting people. That is a big pro for me to the Horizon West area. There are pros and cons to both. I mean, Kissimmee.
well, traffic
Yeah.
traffic is not the greatest in either area.
People always comment on the videos, traffic, traffic, traffic. And I don't fall into that problem as much in the Horizon West area, maybe. But even when we lived in Kissimmee, we lived in an area where I could go back roads to Disney. I guess my issue is I compare everything to Disney.
You want to avoid I-4 because
Yeah.
that's where a lot of traffic, especially traffic coming from the parks. There are sections of 192 that get very backed up at different times throughout the day, especially driven by the park schedules.
Right, so 192, we lived our first year here in Kissimmee right off 192. We loved where we lived.
Very convenient area.
Very convenient area. Our son worked maybe a couple miles down the road at a studio movie grill.
Yeah, Sunset Walk, right?
At Sunset Walk
Yeah.
in Margaritaville. Very fun, great place. And we loved living close to there because it was a fun date night place that was really close by. But there were times that it took us, what should have been a
20
10-minute
minutes.
ride, it took us like a half hour to get into work. So
To go a couple
yeah,
miles.
The traffic on 192, because it's just very touristy. So it definitely is something you have to consider. There's no back roads
right,
to
and-
avoid for that.
And on the other hand, in Horizon West and Winter Garden, there are fewer highways, and so something like Avalon Road
Right.
is one lane in parts of it, or 2 lanes in other parts of it, and that can get backed up.
Because they're still building the area too.
They're
so
still
even
building
though they're
out.
gonna widen the roads, I feel like
They haven't gotten there yet.
it's a little bit of a growing pain. I feel like maybe the traffic won't always be as much of an issue.
Yeah.
That being said, you just know the hours. So like there are certain hours in Horizon West, it's going to be the times of the schools closing maybe. So it's going to be a little heavier traffic around 2:30 to 3:30 because school is getting out, and so it takes you a little longer to get from point A to point B. But
Yeah, and maybe housing options, right?
Yes.
There are townhomes and condos in both communities.
in both areas.
So you can start in in Kissimmee, you can start in the low 200s.
But we see it all the time. People are like, they want to live close to Disney, they want to relocate, and they're telling us, like, we're hearing all the things they want, but they're sending us Zillow houses that are in Kissimmee.
Yeah.
And I would definitely say the biggest difference is just your lifestyle, and it's very important for you to be aware of knowing that you're going to be surrounded, you're going to have a lot of tourists. It's a tourist area versus a non-tourist area.
Right, and you can look up all of the statistics on the school rankings and the crime figures, and even some of, like, from the census, the average income or any of those kind of things. And there's a difference between the two communities.
Yes.
With the higher end leaning more towards a Winter Garden or Horizon West.
Yes.
But at the same time, there are some great luxury properties in Kissimmee.
Yeah.
Some gigantic
Beautiful.
6, 8, 10, 12 bedroom
On the
homes.
water, beautiful homes.
And even those homes are designed for short-term rental, right?
Most of the homes are designed.
But there are some big custom luxury estates on the lakes in Kissimmee, on the lakes in Winter Garden. There are smaller 2-bedroom townhomes. There are some 55-plus communities in each.
Absolutely.
So there's a good variety, but the average cost is going to be higher in Winter Garden.
Right. So I would say if we're comparing the two, they both have a lot of similarities. The biggest difference would be the people there, like short-term renters, long-term, the traffic, maybe, the home prices.
Yeah, maybe the pronunciation. You have to remember, how do you say Kissimmee? Do you
I
say
say
Kissimmee? Do you say Kissimmee?
Kissimmee.
Can you spell it? How many, are there 2 S's, 2 M's, and 2 E's?
It's a very confusing
It's a fun
area.
name though.
I mean,
let's face it, it's a fun name.
Right.
And that's where a lot of hotels are, so that's where a lot of people have great memories when they visited Disney in the past. And so you really can't go wrong in either area. But if we're comparing the two,
Because another option to think about is a lot of people when they are relocating and they're not sure what they want to do, maybe Kissimmee could be an option, especially if you want to hold on to that property. Maybe you want to buy a place that you could use.
you're not ready to move,
Yeah, you're not
but
ready
you
to
can
fully
maybe
move.
spend a month or 2 at a time.
Yeah.
You could come a couple times throughout the year, and then you could defray the costs by renting it out. You can rent it out just within your own community, back where you're from. If you're from Jersey or Ohio or
Right.
Canada,
Right.
you can have people just from your own network of people rent your place. If you have that 4-year, 5-year plan until retirement, you have a place that you can come to until you retire. You have a place that you can appreciate, the equity will rise, other
definitely
people can
rise.
help pay the costs.
Right.
And then when you're ready to move, maybe you stay there for a year. We wind up hearing from a lot of people that say, let's rent for a year because we don't want to get stuck.
We want to see the areas.
We want to know where we want to go
where
first.
We want to move.
So if you get a short-term rental, maybe you stay there for a year and you rent there for a year while you're getting used to the area. And then instead of selling that, you hang on to it because
Right.
it's passive income.
Exactly.
It plays into your retirement plans. It allows maybe your friends and family that are going to want to visit you because you live in the happiest place on earth.
Right, so Kissimmee would be a great option if you were looking for a second home that you could also use as a short-term rental, that
Yeah.
you could take your long vacations in yourself or come down whenever you want, have that vacation home paid for by your guests that would stay in your place, and then it can also be the place that you stay in while you decide where you want to live when you move down. So there's pros and cons. In
Yeah.
Winter Garden, you would not be able to use that place as a rental. So it would be a place that you move to when you are ready to relocate.
So listen, we recognize that it can be very confusing.
Yes.
And when you're not from the area, it's very hard to tell the difference between Kissimmee and Winter Garden, between Horizon West and Claremont or Davenport. And you can see the different prices and go, oh, well, I mean, it's all the same, right?
And it's really hard to do when you're out of state. You know, it's very different to drive around. Driving around Winter Garden, you're seeing more strip malls that are a little bit, you can tell people live here. There's a grocery store, there's nail salons. There's both in Kissimmee and Winter Garden. Kissimmee will have the rows of strip mall of gift shops, souvenir shops, and you know, you're not going to see souvenir shops in Winter Garden. But yes, so.
Well, and so we know it's overwhelming. If you are trying to figure out a good community for you, take a look at some of our other videos. We try to have some overview videos on different communities, on different towns. We'll have some more comparison videos, but we also have a quiz. If you click on the link in the description, answer a few questions. We want to help you determine what would be a great place based on your lifestyle, based on what you hope to achieve, the kind of life you want to build for yourself when you seek after your happily ever after here in the Orlando area.
But I hope if you're starting your search and both those areas, Kissimmee, Winter Garden, are coming up, I hope this cleared up some of your questions. If not, just give us a call, reach out to us. We are always here to answer questions. We love talking about the market down here. We love living here, and we really, thanks for watching.
Yeah, and if you're planning a trip, give us a call and we'll get together, answer some questions, and maybe show you a few places.
Yeah.
So great. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you soon.
Thanks.